Today's episode is presented by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.
Hey guys, welcome to Watching Thrones, where we will be picking over the corpse of Game of Thrones Episode 3, The Queen's Justice. We will be breaking down the Queen's Justice, but I am not alone. I am here with my panel of watchers. I am Spencer J. Gilbert, writer of Von's Trailers, Roth Cornet.
Hello.
Michele Boyd.
Hi, everyone.
And joining us, Nolan Gould. You know him, you love him from Modern Family.
Hey.
Baby boy's all grossed up. You're here to talk some Thrones.
I'm here to talk some Thrones. I don't know if you can tell by my persona, but I'm a gigantic nerd. I'm so excited to be here. Just being surrounded. I'm holding Needle right now. And I see you over there. Is that Oathkeeper?
Oh yeah.
Are we gonna have a sword fight across the table at some point?
If it doesn't, I'll be disappointed.
This is how this is going to end, guys.
It's going to end in blood.
This will, like most good episodes of Game of Thrones, or this
Blood and
season,
fire.
it'll be 45 minutes of talking followed by one battle. Is the pattern we've established so far. But we want to start with that battle as our top story today. Do you want to get high, Garden? Yeah, episode ended. We're going to start with the end. Big finish with the death of beloved fan favorite Olenna Tyrell. Aww. The world's grandma.
Yeah. What a way to go
World's
out,
hottest
though.
grandma.
The world's hottest grandma. I mean, that's probably one of the biggest gut-punching character deaths possible, right?
Yeah, and it was great, though, because she went out the way she would have wanted to in terms of, like, she got the last word in. She definitely won the bit of wordplay there. And here's my only thing is that I don't think she's going to get what she wants. She certainly got Jaime, the better of Jaime, but I don't think he's going to deliver that message to his sister.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you think he's actually going to tell Cersei
Now that message
that
being
Olenna
that
was the one who
it was
poisoned
me
Joffrey?
all along, yes,
Right.
who roofied your son.
He might actually, because that would technically free Tyrion from the
kind of-
the
yeah,
blame
because
that's been
Cersei
put
was
on
like,
him.
do you think
Tyrion out
Cersei's
of
going
the
to
house?
care, though,
She
really?
won't, because
yeah.
I mean he's now the hand of the queen to
But
Daenerys
Tyrion also
Targaryen.
Exactly.
still killed their father. I was wondering
True.
about that, too. Like, this
But
would...
he was a dick.
Jaime never
Tywin was a dick. No one liked
Tywin was a
Tywin.
dick, but Jaime never thought that. Remember, Jaime was still defending Tyrion,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It was that when he killed Tywin.
Now, guys, before we chat it up too much, I want to remind our audience today that you can talk with us with the hashtag Watching Thrones on Twitter, and you can Skype in. We're having some Skype issues, so the Skype line we're going to use is Movie Fights Live. You can Skype in to talk with us because, we're just still figuring it out. But Skype in on Movie Fights Live, and we'll be doing, as there's nothing really worth diving into worthy of our maester, Michele Boyd, not too much in this episode.
Not as much today. I felt like all the little things either had been explained pretty well in the show already, or they're just not that important to the end game.
Yeah.
And now with only, 10 episodes left, I kind of feel like we need to keep our eye on the prize.
I mean, I could do a whole show on the Iron Bank, but we'll wait for that later.
We'll get into it. I don't think this is the last we've seen of the Iron Bank, so I'm pretty sure there'll be time for that.
In lieu of the Maester's Corner, we're going to bring back Trivia by Combat from last season. So
Trivia
if you
by
think you know
combat.
Game of Thrones, I'm a little rusty on how the rules work, but I'm sure it'll come back to me. But call in on Movie Fights Live, and we'll do some trivia at the end of the episode.
And you can call on either of these experts or no
To step in for you.
Yes.
for you if you don't know the answer
Yeah,
to the
we are your
question.
lifelines, and you will win something.
I believe we have a thing.
We have a thing.
You will win honor.
Certainly our love.
Honor and prestige.
Can we talk about the Battle of Highgarden that led up to it?
The total lack thereof.
Yeah, this was
Yeah.
another cost-saving. Let's just cut to the aftermath, like when they knocked out Tyrion when he slept through that
completely.
one.
To be fair, though, I mean, we did get a bit of the battle back with the Grey Worm taking Casterly Rock, which was a little bit more satisfying. Like, I care a lot more about Grey Worm's fate in this than being like, oh, well, Jaime's going to win eventually, so, we can just cut to that.
I think they pointedly wanted it to look easy, though, because I think the idea was like, well, Highgarden really wasn't going to be a challenge for them, so why bother? Like, you know what I mean? They were clearly going to be able to take it, and they had just outmaneuvered Tyrion.
Yeah, some serious shade thrown at Highgarden. They're not fighters.
Not at all.
Not much.
No, they are rich. They have the lands and everything. And that was one thing in the background when you're looking at Jaime kind of doing that kind of cool walk throughout it. You see all the Lannister soldiers kind of picking over the gold and all of the treasure of Highgarden. So apparently now Cersei's got some money to pay back the Iron Bank eventually.
Now, does this mean that the Tyrell house is kind of ended now? Are we all
She's
on
gotta be the
Tyrell?
last
Tyrell is
one,
dead.
right?
In the world
House
of the
Tyrell is
show.
dead.
That's true. In the book
That
dang.
we're aware.
Yeah, in the book there's a Willis Tyrell who is, I believe, Marjorie and Loris's little brother, but he's never mentioned in the show.
Yeah.
So and she's mentioned in the show several times. She is the last Tyrell and she has no heirs. So I think, we can effectively say the Tyrells are done.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's probably a second cousin somewhere, Steve Tyrell, but it'll probably be a Lannister vassal that takes that castle.
Yeah.
Nice rhyme. Lannister vassal that takes that castle. Give it to...
It's Sam's dad.
Oh, Tarly will probably get it.
Tarly,
Yeah.
well, he was promised, and he was with Jaime when they were storming the castle, and so he clearly aligned with Jaime, and he's going to take it, and he's going to be loyal.
What do they call him?
To the
Warden
Lannisters.
of the West?
Warden of the South.
South. Warden
Yeah.
of the South.
Warden of the South is what
Yeah.
it'll be.
So I guess-
That worked out well for him because he was kind
Sure
of
did.
in a pickle where he had to choose. He's like, do I follow my queen or do I follow my warden?
Exactly.
And, the queen took out the warden for him, so he gets the best of both
Yeah,
worlds
best
there.
of both worlds. Good to be a Tarly these days, which we'll get to later with Sam. But Cersei is in a pretty good position now. It seemed like the odds were against her. She was surrounded on all sides, and now she's just wrecking shop. I mean, what
All
is...
of that extra sparkliness she has, like the armor on her dress, it's like plus 10 intelligence.
Yeah.
Like she just leveled up somehow. I don't know where she got all of this nice warfare know-how and working with Jaime, but I'm kind of impressed by how they've
Did you
leveled
just
the playing
drop a
field.
Diablo reference right there?
Diablo
Are we
D&D,
not going
you
to talk
name it.
about
Well, I mean,
that?
for me, it's World of Warcraft, but I'm
Okay.
with you on
Yeah,
that.
her
Blizzard,
character
Blizzard
sheet is
all
long.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's doing great. What do we think her next move is? I mean, she's sitting pretty right now. Where can she go next?
Well, she told you that look, I didn't spend my whole life. I think she's always felt that she wasn't able to express herself and rule the way that she was capable of. And this is her dad didn't let her. And then she was married to Robert, who didn't really respect her or care about her all that much. So she's had to do it behind the scenes. This is her first opportunity to really show what she's got and her mettle. And so to me, these are all the things that we could have predicted that she'd done, like split the house to her out, like sow the seeds of dissent. So now what does she do? If she don't care about Casterly Rock, which they don't, she's going to go after the North, right? Especially if she finds out that Jon is no longer there and there's any amount of dissent. And we can guess that it's possible. I feel like I'm just going on forever. Someone
go ahead.
that it's possible that Littlefinger is maybe sneaking her. We don't know where his loyalties are right now. He may be playing both sides of the coin.
Oh, we'll definitely get to
I think
Littlefinger. I mean,
Littlefinger is one of my favorite characters just in the entire, the world of Game of Thrones. So what he has been able to, accomplish and how much he changes the series just, through his presence and making aligning with certain factions and then not has really absolutely just changed the course of Westeros, I feel like.
yeah. That's fair.
He's on everyone's side, as it turns out. He has a great monologue in this episode, which we'll get to in a minute. But before we leave King's Landing, at least, or Cersei's storyline, she's reunited with Rob Thomas, lead singer of Matchbox 20, and also Euron Greyjoy. He's back. What do we think about the marriage prospects between Euron and Cersei at this point?
I think Euron got hosed a little bit.
no.
Euron, I mean, he's comes back, he's like, I
Dwindling.
gave you the gift, and she's like, cool, wait your turn, bro.
Yeah.
He's dead the second.
We've all
that
been
war
there,
ends.
Euron. We've all been there.
You know, exactly.
Just keeps
I
asking
can't
for
tell you
more
how
and
many
more.
times I've brought a girl some captives. I'm like, here are your enemies. And she has turned down my marriage proposal.
I mean, if you squint, he could do a pretty good Jaime impression if he grows out, the middle part of his hair and shaves the beard. No, you don't see any future in them. They're so similar. They
are.
both love torturing people. They're both sadistic monsters. You don't see them pairing up at any point. She married Robert. She hated Robert.
This woman is not going to be in the position we just talked about again, where she is not able to fully. She is the queen. Why would she give that up? The minute she takes on,
Yeah.
same reason Elizabeth I never married. The minute she takes on a king, her being the queen doesn't mean the same thing anymore.
Okay.
I don't think she ever actually intends to marry him.
No, she's gonna kill him.
Don't
No
believe
way.
that's gonna happen. Both of them just want to kill the other one. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, now, where do his loyalties lie? If he's not getting the queen out of this deal, is he not as reliable an ally as Cersei thinks?
I'm not sure.
I'd say 100%.
Yeah.
If she doesn't make him king, then she's going to lose that ally.
Yeah, I mean, he's a pirate after all. He just likes gold and booty.
But
If he's not
But
getting
who
one,
is he
he'll
going to
take the
go
other.
to? I mean, he can't actually think that Dany would accept him. Assuming Cersei turns him down. So where's he gonna go?
Is Dany really in a place to reject him right now, though?
I think she would. I think she'd take one look at his guy liner and just be like, no, dude, sorry.
That's interesting because Dany is in terrible shape, and I would love to take a Skype call and talk to our first guest about something awesome that happened. Do we have someone on the line? All right. Caller, where are you calling from? What's your name? Hello?
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Can you see us?
Can you see or hear us?
Oh, we can see you. This is not creepy at all. It's okay. Hopefully we'll get it.
All right,
we'll get it back.
I'll ask the table then. How did it feel, on to Dragonstone, how did it feel to see Jon Snow?
Oh, wait. Before we leave King's Landing, are we not going to talk about Alaria and the Sand Snake beneath King's Landing?
We can talk torture for a second, yeah.
I mean,
that's pretty much
if
the
we're gonna leave
worst
Cersei alone,
punishment possible. She poisoned Myrcella with the poison kiss. Now Cersei poisons her daughter, but adds a new twist to it, which is you now have to watch your daughter disintegrate into a disgusting corpse for life.
Is it bad that I kind of like Cersei the best when she's like divining these awful punishments for people?
Well, yeah, you got a little glimpse into her mindset.
First, like Septa with the mountain, and then now this. Like, this is just poetic justice at its best.
It's a little reminiscent for me of kind of like the Mad King Aerys
Yes,
and the punishments he came up with. I can't. I'm spacing on the name.
Rickard Stark.
Rickard and Brandon Stark.
Yes.
Where the sword was just out of reach.
Exactly.
To save his father, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so she lies awake and she dreams on how to murder her enemies. So all that hard work and preparation paid off because she finally got her enemies. She's like, ooh, I have just the thing.
And which this actually is, that's a good point because I wanted to talk about her lying awake and thinking of how to kill her enemies. Does that sound like anyone else to you? Maybe a little girl Stark?
Yeah.
Lying awake with her list?
Oh, with a certain needle.
With a certain needle. I mean, first we had the comparisons from Sansa to Cersei in the first episode with like the hair and how she said she learned a lot from Cersei. And now like Cersei talking about having a list of her enemies and killing people, the exact same thing that Arya did. There's a lot of comparisons between the characters that are worrying me right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of serial killers loose. And Cersei, very turned on by what she did.
Right?
She went immediately to Jaime's quarters and they got it on.
Yeah. Well, this is another way that she is like, you're on. But I don't think that she would ever marry anyone again. I think she's happy to be with Jaime. Also, I will say this, though. She is brazen, right? Like, she just does not care about flaunting her relationship with Jaime. And I'm just curious, like, strategically, is that not the kind of thing that could eventually come back at her?
Yeah, but who's gonna call her on it?
Yeah,
I mean,
who's gonna stand up to
she's
her?
got nothing to lose because she's the queen. She also has no heirs. She's just YOLOing right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Hashtag YOLO.
She just,
That's the new Lannister.
Yeah,
Lannister Lannisters. Hashtag YOLO.
seriously. She's broke, as we saw in that nice scene with the Iron Bank, although she now has some money from Highgarden. And she's got no heirs and a kingdom, so she's just going to go out in a blaze of glory, I think.
So does she go after the North, or does she go after Daenerys head on?
well, she's got to go through Daenerys to get to the North, doesn't she?
Well, because Daenerys is at Dragonstone.
Kind of at a Dragonstone, but all the Unsullied army is at Casterly Rock right now, and they got to cross the whole continent, which apparently you can do in an episode, but we're not going to talk about that.
We don't need to dwell on that. But I think the important thing is that she has to deal with both, but now she has a choice. She can set the rules of the battle, whereas before she was completely surrounded.
Yeah.
So Cersei, I don't see it happening just from like a stepping back from like a showrunner's perspective of Cersei winning at the end of the day and she just conquers everyone and then you roll the credits.
Yeah.
Probably not going to be on Game of Thrones ends, but it looks like that's where it's headed right now.
So, I mean, what point are we at right now? Like, Dany has some of the Unsullied, but not really. And they're kind of stranded over at Casterly Rock. She still does have the Dothraki.
Somewhere. Where are they, by the way? There's a small island and she's got like 100,000 of them.
They're
chilling
Where are
somewhere.
the horses crapping? Like,
Again,
again,
then
it's
she,
expensive.
of course, has her dragons.
Yes.
Versus Cersei, who's got the whole Lannister army, all of Randall Tarley's army, all the gold of Highgarden. What else?
I mean, at this point,
Dorne, right?
Well,
sort of.
but I feel like Dorne is just going to stay down in Dorne and do Dornish things. You know, they're like, we have a garden of peaches and waterfalls. We're cool here. Thanks.
But she successfully unmanned someone that looked like she could not lose. And the thing.
Oh, and Euron. She's got Euron's army.
She's got Euron. So at this point, is it like, did Yara have a point? Should she have been a dragon in the first place and just gone and taken it when she could?
Yes.
I think so,
I think
yeah.
now at this point we've found out that Tyrion might not know what he's talking about when it comes to war.
This is twice now.
Yeah. So I would love to take a Skype call as we move on to Dragonstone. Nope.
Just kidding.
I take it back.
We don't want to talk to you anyway.
Fine. Anyways,
I'm going to look on Twitter.
yeah,
I'm
you
not
can
looking
tweet us at
my phone.
hashtag Watching Thrones to join the conversation. But we are heading down to Dragonstone, where I want to stay for a while, because this was fire and ice, man. They're united at last, Jon and Dany.
7 seasons in the making.
Yeah. I think that it is inevitable that they will bone. What say you guys?
Yeah.
Incest radar. Incest.
High and
threat
rising.
level.
High
Yeah.
and rising.
Incest threat level.
That's
red.
what she said.
Targaryens have a history
Yeah.
of doing two things. They either
Ride a
Bone.
dragon or ride their brother.
they ride their family members or they fight their family members.
Yeah.
They
Now
either fight or they.
the big debate. The big debate in the throne room was, should Jon bend the knee and join her in her quest to conquer the Seven Kingdoms, which he refused. And since Jon just cares about the Night King and staving off the undead,
Yeah.
should he just be like, fine, I'll bend the knee, whatever, let's do this? Or was he smart to hold on to his northern pride there?
Well, clearly it didn't hurt him all that much to hold on to it. Dany wants him to come down and join forces to kind of help take Casterly Rock as well, or just like acknowledge that he's part of the Seven Kingdoms. But that doesn't really do anything for him. He needs, she's not going to stop the war that she's already involved in. He's smart enough to know that, and Tyrion points it out. But the only thing she can really do for him is the dragon glass, and he was able to get that.
Yeah, and Tyrion did point out very accurately that no one knows who he is. No one believes what he's selling. Like, he just has his word to go on that there's an army of the undead coming crashing down on anyone. That puts him in a little bit of a pickle. How is Jon Snow going to rally people to fight something that it sounds like it's out of a fairy tale?
Well, I'd want Davos there to hype everything from now on. He was so good.
That was the most honest type, man.
It was
This
so
is
great.
Jon Snow.
This is Jon
This
Snow.
is Jon
Oh,
Snow.
he happens.
Oh,
to
by
be
the way,
in
he's
North.
king of the north.
Yeah.
He kind of got into it a little bit later, and there was that moment. Why do you guys think that Jon stopped him from saying that he essentially died and came back?
Because that just sounds nuts. I mean, yeah, I can believe the zombies, but like dying and coming back to life.
Well, she
She
survived
did it.
a fire. She did it. He could
She
be
didn't
like,
die,
hey,
but-
you think you're so cool coming back from a pyre where you burnt Drogo and you've got, dragons now? Guess what? Guess what I did over the summer vacation?
You know
just
what he
to kind
did?
of throw it in there.
He brooded, and I love that they called out
Yes.
the brooding in this episode.
Yes.
Like, oh, you look really good brooding. Dragonstone is entirely cliffs from which to brood on. That
Yeah.
set is either the throne room or they're on a brooding cliff.
Completely.
But it's also this thing of every single person wants power, but Jon, which just further makes us believe that he's going to be the one to get it. I like doing what I'm good at. I don't. He's good at war. He's good at killing people. He is good at coming back to life.
Yeah.
He has a number of skills, but he doesn't want any of it. So it's either, like, if you think about it, I've united fire and ice. Jon is fire and ice. He is that.
Yeah.
He's living, he's dead, he's fire, he's ice. He's all of the things combined into one. So either if he's not the princess that was promised, they are going to bone, and their kid is going to be, and her son will be the dragon that rides the world. But first, a whole bunch of other stuff has to
Yeah,
happen.
well,
Yeah.
that's sort of what happened already, because Rhaegar was the one who thought that he was going to be the prince that was promised, and it ended up being possibly his son
Or
was
grandson.
going to be, or grandson, or sister.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the question of like whether it's Dany and Jon who are ice and fire, or it's just Jon himself, I think. But the dragon
or
has
if they
3
have
heads.
a kid, and this is a longer game than we think. Like, the long night doesn't last.
Don't
6
give George
months.
any ideas, man. This is long enough.
He's got to wrap this one
They're
up.
talking about the long night. Hasn't even started yet. Is it just going to last a day?
Right.
You
Sansa
know?
did ask
not a
also,
very
what's the
long
longest
night.
winter on
Yeah.
record? We didn't really get an answer.
There were a lot of little moments that were great in this episode, where Jon goes, I'm not a Stark. Boom, dragon,
dragon
flying
flies
out.
overhead.
That was nice. And my roommate this morning when she was watching the episode, she's like, did you notice that everyone had to bend down except Tyrion? Tyrion just sort of chilled. Because he's low already.
Because Tyrion might be a dragon.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Tyrion,
Right,
yeah,
Nolan?
Tyrion
This
might be
is
right there too.
What I came to talk about. My favorite fan theory.
Lay
This is
it on
why I
us.
came.
Go for it.
The idea that Tyrion Lannister might not actually be a Lannister and might be a Targaryen. I know that may be a little out there as far as like fan theories go, but there's 3 dragons. The Targaryen sigil is a 3-headed dragon. We know of 2 Targaryens already. There could be possibly a third, and we might see Tyrion Lannister on a dragon, which would be amazing.
That would be amazing.
A little dragon.
It doesn't have to be big. It can be little, like me. Yeah, I do like this idea. I think it would be it would be nice. It would be poetic. It would kind of wrap everything up. I kind of feel like the issue right now is, who is going to ride that third dragon? I feel like the two most popular theories are either Tyrion with possibly the whole secret Targaryen thing, or like Bran.
Yeah.
Those are kind of the top
That he
two.
would
I feel
warg
like
it.
that he could like warg into the dragon at some point.
He was told by the three-eyed raven in his dreams, you're not just going to walk, you're going
You're
to
gonna
fly.
fly.
Yeah.
And that could mean either just the ravens, or it
Yeah.
could mean dragons, which would be awesome.
Bran, I will have my
so get there.
episode-long shitting on
Good
Bran
God.
shortly, but I want to stay on Dragonstone just a bit longer. I'd also love to take a Skype call, which is now working again, apparently. Call in at Movie Fights Live. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
American Philly.
Hi.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. I love the episode once again. The season has just been, for me, amazing. It's been worth the wait.
They're bringing it. They're bringing it pretty hard. And so was it worth the wait to see Jon and Dany together at last? And what do you think their boning threat level is at right now?
She did give him that kind of glance at the very end when he was walking back.
I saw that.
Those were doomy eyes
Yeah.
for sure.
So I think that could definitely happen.
And what do you think about Nolan's fan theory that Tyrion could be the third dragon?
Back me up here.
I think that can totally be the case. Tywin, before he yelled at him and said, "You are not my son."
Yeah.
Maybe that had deeper meaning.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, good detail.
Especially the way he said it. It wasn't just, you're not my son, I'm
Yeah.
disowning you. It sounded like there was a little
He
bit
said,
more
"I can't
there.
prove that you're
No,
not."
for
he's
serious.
Like, he said that basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, everyone, but I believe what he said was, "I have to put up with you because I can't prove that you're not my son."
Right.
He didn't even. Yeah.
He did.
Wow.
Whoa.
Like, so I think it seemed in that moment to be 100% convinced, like, you're not my kid.
That's cool.
It is a possibility. It would unfortunately kill all of the really good tension between him and Tywin that had been building up the entire time. And I think kind of strike some of Tyrion's more interesting character away from him if he does turn out to be a Targaryen, because then there's not that relationship between him and Jaime, there's not the relationship between him and Cersei. Like, you kind of lose out on that a little bit, which is the only reason that I'm not a huge fan of the
What,
theory.
you think
but
like
it's
adopted
cool.
people can't like have family connections?
I think it'd be better if he was actually a Lannister and he's the one who brings down the house.
I actually disagree. I think it makes it a little more interesting as well, especially for Jaime when he stood up for him through all of these years, only to find out that he wasn't his brother, and ultimately that's going to be his undoing.
Well, either way, isn't the idea that he's half a Lannister? Like Joanna, his mother, I think, was like raped or kidnapped or something by a Targaryen. Like, that's where the kind of possible half Targaryen thing comes from. So either way, I guess he'd be in the same boat as Jon with the Starks. Like, Tyrion would be half a Lannister. But yeah, Tywin not being his father I don't know. There was a lot that was interesting to me in the relationship between Tywin and Tyrion, and I feel like that would cheapen it a little bit. But that's just me.
I wonder,
Yeah, I get it,
though,
though.
Casterly that conversation happened when Tywin was telling him why he would never, ever give him Casterly Rock. And, like, to me, is Tyrion being blinded by his own personal agenda in the same way Olenna was?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that ultimately that
That's
made them
why
make
he
bad
just
decisions.
had to get rid of the place to give him the bad memories.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Could be.
That plays, and I mean, it speaks perfectly that he's like, oh, I have the perfect way of doing this because of that low demeaning job that my father did, and it's going to turn around and give me Casterly Rock.
Yeah.
But it's, Jaime learned from his mistakes and learned from Robb and turned it around on them.
But switching gears slightly, Dany had this big speech in this episode about her faith in herself monologue, about how she's had some ups and downs, she's had some assassination attempts, some rapes, some this, some that, and all throughout it all,
Like you
she
do.
has had faith in herself, in Daenerys Targaryen. And I'm wondering, caller, you can chime in on this, if you think that this was shades of the Mad Queen? Is faith in herself above all the gods going to lead to some madness later on, or do we still think Dany is the good guy in this situation?
Oh, Eric, what do you think?
I think it's absolutely going to lead to madness. I think it's so George R.R. Martin to turn her into what she never wanted to be, her father.
Wow.
There's a lot of evidence that points that way.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you. Good to
Thank
see
you.
you.
Thanks.
Personally, for me, I just thought it was just a very strong speech from a woman ruler who's had to, be put up with a lot for 7 seasons and has kind of come back to triumph over it all.
But don't you think it was a little Kanye of just it's me, it's all me.
Somebody auto-tune that and make it the next Kanye rap.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know.
I think there were some slight shades of menace. What do you think, Roth?
I mean, I think that we've been getting hints all along that that's where she's going to head to. And I think that Jon Snow is ultimately the best. He throws her point of view into sharp relief, right? He does not want to be, if you look at the 2 pictures of her being held up as Misa and him coming out of the battle, right? They're both being held up in this like iconographic moment, but he doesn't want it. And she desperately does. Like, she's like, yep, call me mother. I'm here to save you. That's kind of anyone that's getting high on their own supply that way is like a little bit dangerous, right?
A little bit,
right?
yeah.
Like, the minute you're like, yeah, no, I definitely am your savior, you're like, maybe not then, you know?
Well, I mean, when we can talk about, like,
falling apart.
What you think, I blame your pink hair. Yeah. Well, I mean, we can talk about, what do you think her reaction is going to be when she finds out she's not the last Targaryen? She's been pulling on that for 7 seasons. Like, this is, I'm it. I'm the last one. I'm the only one. And then come out to find, nope. There is another. No, there is another. There is another.
Technically, maybe there's one with a better claim than her as well.
Right.
Yeah.
But, that comes
As
into
the
like
son of
might versus
Rhaegar.
right
But
and
he would still be a
bloodlines.
bastard.
He is,
Yeah.
It's a true bloodline. I mean, this gets into like, who do you think has the perfect claim? No one, really.
No
it's
one.
whoever
It's
has the most dragons wins.
yes.
I'm sorry, but that's been the rule. So it's, right now she's got all 3.
Are you guys worried about the dragons? Because I feel
Yes.
like her next move is going to be like, she's like, screw all of you. Stop
Yeah,
with
I'm
your
gonna
little
ride.
plans. I'm going to ride this dragon.
As well she should, because that's how her great-grandpappy did it back in the day. I mean, why would you leave your one biggest advantage at home? I know it's a risk, but, like, you need to do that. It would completely make this so much easier for her if from the get-go she had just gotten on a dragon and burned everyone into submission.
What if she dies? Like, what if
That would be an
after
awesome
all
twist.
of this,
That
Dany
would
is
be-
gonna die. Yeah.
do we think Dany could die?
Yeah, I think she absolutely could die. What if that's the end of this season?
What if all of this was just George R.R. Martin's way to just troll us?
I would love that.
String
I
us
think
And
that
down
would
like
be
for
Hot
7
Pie
seasons.
ends up on the throne at the end.
Hot
I
Pie
think-
for the throne.
I think if you talk about Dany being a dragon, I think Jaime had a really good moment with Olenna that calls back to this, where he says, look, if all of these people are going to be living in this peaceful world that my sister built, who's going to care how she built it?
Right,
So it's
fair
like,
point.
yeah. So all these people, they don't use their armies and their dragons when they had all of them to go and ravage the city because it would kill thousands of innocent people. Well, cool, but they would have done it. Cersei would be gone, and Dany would be on the Iron Throne right now. End of show, and everyone would be in theory living in peace.
Yeah.
And do those people living, would they really care that all these other people were burned by dragon fire?
They got to switch it up because she's been getting some pretty bad advice, which brings me to her shrinking circle of advisors. Now that Oleana's gone, is we had a good Varys moment with Varys and Melisandre, and she kind of threw some prophecy at him. That
Prophecy.
boom, prophecy to the face. She said, "You will die here in this strange country." Is that? Am I getting that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
They-
He kind of
they both
threatened
have
her. Yeah, kind of threatened her, saying, I don't think you should come back. You have a great life. Would be a shame if something happened to it. Should you come back to Westeros? And she's like, oh, really? Guess what? I know how you're going to die, Spider.
Yeah, but as far as prophecy goes, I didn't
Yeah.
think this was like the biggest reach. It's kind of a coin flip. There's only 2
Yeah.
continents. Die
Everybody dies.
Essos or Westeros.
50-50.
Like, why was he so shocked by saying he would die in this country?
I think he just was discomforted. He hates magic, and he really distrusts magic ever since his parts
Yeah.
got burned, and he heard
By a
strange
red
voices.
priestess, right?
I believe so. Sorcerer,
sorcerer.
yeah. So, magic being thrown at him of, hey, I have a prophecy about your life, I think would really freak him out.
I
Yeah.
think any normal human, if I said to you, like, you're going to die here in Los Angeles, like, maybe you are.
Yeah, odds are,
But
yes.
odds are, probably, I live here, but
Yeah.
like, I don't want want to be hearing about it. You
Are
know,
we like really that concerned about like Melisandre's prophecies though? She's been wrong in the past a lot
she
of
has
times.
not been 100% wrong though. She's been like adjacent to the truth. You know?
She's truth adjacent.
And he clearly heard something in those flames during his unmanning that like he does not like to be reminded of.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't like to be reminded of that.
It's no one would want to
That's traumatic for you.
Think
I'm
about
sorry,
the
man.
time their winky was burned.
Can I say a thing that someone said on Twitter? So
Yes.
on Twitter,
Hashtag
Derek
Watching
says,
Thrones said.
There's lots of things, so I'm trying to get to them. But Derek is like, the reason that Jon didn't bend the knee is that if he went back to the north and said, "Oh, what's up? I'm no longer king in the north, and also we're not getting any help," that doesn't lead.
And we have to go fight Cersei.
And we have to go fight. No.
Yeah, that's a bad deal.
It's a bad deal.
He gave the right reason. The people in the north depend on him to defend them, and he can't do that if he bends the knee. There's just no way. They would lose all respect for him immediately.
Yeah. fair
And
point.
he's fighting a different war. If he bends the knee and then she says, "Great, now we're going to go fight this war," he doesn't care about that war. You know,
Yeah.
he doesn't care about the human war.
Can I just ask, because I don't care about budgetary reasons, where is my direwolf?
Yeah.
Where's
Ghost?
Ghost? Where is Ghost?
Rendering.
If you're going to go down to Dragonstone where you know she's got these 3 big-ass dragons and you want to kind of impress her,
Bring your Pokemon,
bring your evolved Pokemon. So bring your final form. Let's go. I mean, he's got to be huge at this point.
When
He's with the Dothraki, who are all in the stables. They're all just chilling off screen.
Yeah.
When was the last time we saw Ghost? Do you
Last
guys
season?
remember?
Did we see him
Not
at
this
Battle of
season.
the Bastards? I don't remember if they
don't think
gave
so.
him a brief glance there. I was trying to remember. I don't know. It's been a while.
Yeah.
And I mean,
it's been a minute.
he's a pretty strategic thing, you know, just from a pure fear standpoint, and also just, I mean, he's gonna be scarier than like 10 Northmen.
They've diminished the relationship between the Starks and their wolves, though, in general on the
Yeah.
show.
But I think
which
it's
is-
like, do you want to spend your money on that?
I get
Frankly,
it.
to pull back the curtain, like every shot that a giant wolf is in is a special effects shot.
Yeah.
Right.
So they could do. Why don't they just hobbit it and trick the perspective with like a dog really close to the camera?
Yeah, it's the practical effects. It's
And
fine.
Jon
Riveting
Snow is
style.
like Kit Harington. He's like 5'5". He's an adorable little man. Like you could get a big dog.
You could get a very big dog. You could do it, Spencer.
All right, so that's my one gripe. I lived with jetpacks, but I'm gonna gripe
Yeah.
about my direwolf.
Well, just buttoning up the prophecy, before this moment, I didn't think that Varys was ever... I just thought of him as immortal. I just never thought that he would die, but now I think he's gonna go this season.
This season.
Yeah.
Because of that. Well, she has to see Arya again as well.
Right.
If we're to believe her prophecies at all, she said she would see her again.
Do you think Arya is going to kill her?
Sure, why not? I mean,
Yeah, why
Arya
not?
definitely like.
Why not?
I mean, if she
She's
pisses
making
her
a name for
off,
herself
Yeah.
already.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So, speaking of Arya, who is not... I guess she's still on her way to Winterfell. But we did spend some...
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We spent some time in Winterfell this season, or this episode, and we got to see Sansa, Queen of the North, just doing her business. She seems like she is totally in control. She wears it well.
She's doing a really good job. She learned from a lot of different people, and it shows in this
Yeah.
episode. Kind of thinking ahead towards winter, noticing little details. This is the most I've liked Sansa in a while.
I feel like she could take it all. What do you think? Could the big twist be that like everybody kills each other off in this war, and the only ones left standing are actually Littlefinger and Sansa?
And Sansa.
Wow.
They're like, all right, I guess.
Well, her shutdown of Littlefinger continues. She just has line after line, just taking the
get a
the
clue,
guts
buddy.
out of him.
Get a clue.
Move on,
I
man.
don't know. Nolan,
There's other
Nolan, what do
girls
you
out
think?
there.
Like kind of the end game. I mean, if he was forced to choose between the Iron Throne and Sansa,
For Littlefinger?
yeah.
I would definitely say the Iron Throne. Like, he's confessed his love for a lot of women. Including Sansa's mom.
That's true.
Caitlyn. But one thing that has always been constant in Littlefinger's storyline, whether or not, chasing different women, blah, 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 he's always been seeking power. He started in this, small place, and he's constantly building up.
Yep.
That would be the ultimate end to his story, would be sitting on the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
Climbing that ladder. There was a small moment that I want to draw attention to, and it's where they're going down the staircase, Sansa and the Maester and everyone, and one of the Maesters says, "I'm going to check through Maester Lewin's records. He kept a copy of every Raven scroll." Littlefinger's head whips around and just stares at him like, "Say what?"
Oh, okay.
So I'm wondering, I mean, with all of his tricksiness, is there some scroll that he sent to Winterfell or something that Sansa or the Maester's going to discover that throws some shade at Littlefinger and gives her like a cast iron reason to turn on him.
Interesting, because what important letters have come through there?
I was trying to think, because the only one that I could think of where they learn of like John Arryn,
Yeah,
like they
that's what I was
burned,
thinking,
but they
yeah.
burned that immediately. So I don't know, but I don't know. I just caught that
I
look,
guess
and
I'm
I'm
thinking,
like, that
am I
seemed
confusing
important.
it with in the book Sting the Ramsay Bolton letter where it's like
the pink letter.
Yeah, you're all dead. I've got
Yeah.
them all.
Well, that was sent to John, and I don't know if he would still have that. So I don't know. I don't know what it could portend, but
Yeah,
I just
interesting.
thought that was, and it may be absolutely nothing, and it was just Littlefinger kind of
Yeah,
stretching his neck a little bit. I don't know.
I'm curious to see if
but it
Twitter
seemed like
has
something.
any comments on
I
this
looked
one.
around and it didn't seem like it. So again, maybe
Yeah.
it's nothing. I don't know, but I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, we got a little glimpse. Roth, do you have any tweets for us?
We don't yet, but we're on a little delay, so they're not hearing about
About
this yet.
Okay.
just yet.
They will say
Yeah,
bye.
we can go on. So yeah,
we got a
and
little
then,
glimpse into Littlefinger's psyche. He had a monologue of saying like, anything's possible, basically.
Yeah,
so
he just
I,
went all Morpheus on
Yeah,
her. Like,
sometimes
Take
I
the red
imagine
pill.
my friends are my enemies, and my enemies are my friends, and I'm just be prepared for anything and any possible timeline. Hard cut to my least favorite Stark, Bran.
yeah.
Bran is back, baby. And I'd
Bran?
love to take a Skype call, calling it Movie Fights Live. We got one on the line. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm Jonathan. I'm calling from California.
Hey,
Jonathan, scale of 1 to 10, how much do you hate Bran?
I love Bran.
God.
Thank you.
Because from the beginning, he is a character that is seeing everything from the big picture. Everyone else was squabbling in the first few seasons, while Bran was trying to understand what's beyond. And he is so creepy, yet so wise. The biggest problem I had with this episode, or I guess the scene with Sansa, is that he just goes off saying like, "It was so beautiful to see you at that wedding."
Yes!
The same wedding where you
Oh,
were raped.
How
That's
creepy
creepy.
is that? What you could bring up any other moment in time that you've seen when you've
Yeah.
been gone to prove that you see things, and you bring up like the worst night of her
Bran,
life.
Bran's
why?
just
Why?
using
There
his
must be a
omnipotence to be a
reason.
creep.
No, but don't you feel like there must be some kind of a reason for that?
He could have said something like, "Oh, I saw Dad die by Joffrey's hand" or something. Like that was a horrible experience, but it wasn't like a.
Yeah,
just-
or like Littlefinger killed or turned on your dad. Like you should look out for him. Nothing
yeah.
useful.
Yeah.
It's just like you had a
So-
shit wedding night, didn't you?
Well, there's a possible book explanation for why that scene was chosen. And throughout the books, there are little mentions of like whispers or a raven that a lot of people have taken to mean that either like the three-eyed raven is watching it or Bran is possibly like time jumping
Yeah.
and watching stuff. So it's possible. And Sansa's wedding was one of those moments where there was like wind whispering in the trees. So picking that scene, I think, had a particular significance, obviously, to Sansa, because she was all by herself at that point. And also, they were in the same grove that it had happened. And also a callback to the books and possibly book readers that this is one of those moments that we think/know that he was at.
He's also a little less human now.
yeah,
He went full Vulcan.
they're playing up the like detached robot side of
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the thing is if he's not connecting in that way, if everything feels like what Littlefinger was describing, every possibility is happening at once. To him, he's not super attached to like the emotional
Anything, yeah.
elements of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like kind of what Jonathan was saying on the Skype call. Like, he is seeing everything at once. He basically just binged all of Game of Thrones in like 0.5
entire
seconds.
history of
So
Westeros.
he's like,
Fried his brain. He's like,
he's
that
just
was a
dealing
cool
with
scene.
it on a whole other level. And actually, I had a moment where like Sansa's hugging him, and he's totally stoic and emotionless. And I'm like, is that because he can see how she's gonna die?
Oh.
If he
Yeah.
sees everything at
Yeah.
once and he knows all the stories, I mean, what do you guys think?
Potentially. I mean, I think he's just not processing humanity in quite
Yeah.
the same way
Yeah.
anymore, and he doesn't feel those attachments anymore.
I don't feel those that way anyways, and I don't see everything, I don't process
You don't
humanity
process
and
emotions.
feelings.
I just want.
And I can't
You're
see
just
everything.
Spock in your everyday life. Yeah.
But every time you get a big Stark reunion, like I want it to warm my
mean
heart. I want it to
something.
mean something. And this was just like she was hugging a popsicle. There was just nothing there. And I don't think that the three-eyed raven in his interactions with him was that robotic. cybernetic. Or if he was, it was because he was old. It wasn't because being the three-eyed raven makes you a cyborg.
But here's the other thing. So you know how like the Lord of Light seemingly is either just trolling his priests and priestesses, or he's doing different things to
Dorne.
get. I know that's Dorne.
We're gonna go with it. It looks like a sun.
He's trying to like put. I know this is Dorne. He's trying to like put the pieces in place, right? By sending maybe some confusing messages, but the overall goal is the same. Maybe there's some kind of reason why Bran feels like I have to like activate Sansa's PTSD and rage to keep her going in a certain direction, because we need her to keep going in that certain direction in order to reach a goal that he knows about but she doesn't. Does that make sense?
Yeah, whatever he's doing, he has his reasons.
Yeah.
Definitely, he sees everything. And Spencer, I'm just disagreeing with you here. I think he's one of the most awesome Starks right now, and I think he's the only person.
He's
This
an
is where the sword
exposition
battle happens,
man.
you guys.
I will fight you for this.
He's
Trial by
only there
combat.
to tell you about other characters who are more
Chop my
interesting.
tiny needle sword in half.
I don't know.
Could be quicker.
Do we still have Jonathan? I'm curious
Jonathan,
to know
yeah, you
if
still
he
there?
thinks that Bran is going to be one of the warg riders. Do you think he's going to ride a dragon?
I think it's completely possible, and I honestly think Sansa's going to be the last one standing, because I feel like Dany, like you were saying before, that she may die in the Great Battle, and Sansa has connections with the Vale. She's was married to Tyrion, so connected into Castle Rock, and then by that connection to the new dynasty of King's Landing, and being a Stark, she has connections on all over Westeros, and she's not a fighter, so she could Littlefinger her way into the Iron Throne at the end and not have to do anything.
She's got a damn good claim, yeah.
She does.
Yeah.
That's how you
Not
play
bad.
the Bachelor.
And also, Littlefingered is now a verb.
yeah,
You just use
Yeah, I like
Littlefinger.
it.
She
She
Littlefingered her way in
That
there.
just sounds wrong.
Thanks for calling out that.
That goes with that gesture. From Twitter, Snet reminds us that we last saw Ghost when John came back from the dead. That's a
Oh,
long
that's
time
right.
ago.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's right,
Got it.
because that's one of the theories about how John survived is
Came
that
back.
he
He
worked
warped
his
into
soul
Ghost.
into Ghost for a little bit.
Right, which
Yeah.
the show kind of didn't go into, but yeah, that was hugely, especially because
Yeah.
like his last word was ghost, and that was a thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
and
thank you.
that actually-
Thank you, Twitter.
Helps for all of the Stark children as a possibility of like coming back
Yeah.
for all of them, especially for Bran as the three-eyed raven.
Yeah.
Just warging into another creature.
So yeah, death pool. Who do we think is going to last longer, Sansa, Arya, or Bran at this point? Because they're all on a collision course with each other, or do they rule together? Are they the three wolves that stay in the
The
north?
three-eyed wolf.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question. Well, you guys know my whole theory that Arya doesn't last
Yeah.
the show, that she's the spirit of vengeance that kind of burns itself out.
Yeah.
But I mean, that also got turned on its head a little bit when she chose to. I believe she's going to Winterfell, so I don't believe she decided to go back south to King's Landing. So I think like her kind of turning her back on that a little bit and deciding to be a Stark at Winterfell again kind of helped her longevity in my mind. But that's simply me.
I remain unconvinced that she's going back to Winterfell.
I mean, what a weird family reunion it's going to be at the end of the day when Jon is like, yeah, I died and came back to life. Arya's like, I'm a faceless assassin. Bran is like, I can see infinity.
Sansa's like, what the hell?
Sansa's like, well, all that happened to me is that I stopped pretending to be stupid.
Oh, I can't wait. All right, so from north to far, far south we go. Just a few odds and ends here at the Citadel. Jorah! We didn't talk about him last
No,
week. His scabs have come off.
Totally fine.
Yeah, it took a day.
Sam just read the book and followed the
I
instructions.
just followed the instructions.
If only it was that easy.
Yeah, 10 points to Hufflepuff. Good job.
Seriously. I mean, that's almost all there is to say about it, is that Jorah is back and he's back to join Khaleesi, right?
They did have one moment I really loved, though, and I didn't pick up on it the first time I watched, but the handshake between Sam and Jorah. And my first thought was like, wow, that's trusting in your skill. All right, cool. You think he's not infectious anymore. But I realized, like, that's the first human contact that Jorah has had in, like, 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Like, he, you know, even the when we first saw him at Old Town with the arm reaching out, just trying to touch someone, and, you know, Sam extending his arm. Like, I thought, and if you're watching Glenn's face, man, oh, he's on my list. Like, oh, I love that man.
list? What's
my
the list?
My list is the thing. Oh, you know the list.
No, please tell me.
The plastic laminated list where you have it's your list of actors that your significant other can't get mad at you for
Oh, okay.
sleeping with.
Why is it
Yeah.
laminated?
Just because you can't change the list.
See,
Just
I
because
don't-
Easy to clean.
just
I
because
don't
you
have
met one.
these-
Yes.
I don't have these problems because I'm 18 and
That's-
single, so I don't make lists like
Give
that.
it time.
Awesome. So yeah, you're saying Sam is kind of like a backup plan unless if Dany falls through, he's got another human to
to kind of reach out and touch. I don't know. I just do think it's interesting that Dany, in a weird backwards way, owes Jorah's life to Jon now. Because if Jon hadn't sent Sam to the Citadel, and Jeor Mormont hadn't saved Sam's life,
there's
and
a
Jon,
BFF
and
connection.
there is a little connection there. I doubt they're going to explore it, but I thought it was cool.
There has to be more to the Jorah storyline.
Yes, I totally agree, Nolan.
Because there's no way that they would devote this much time to Jorah Mormont, who, like, there's got to be something more than just love there.
Yeah, and it seems like it's more than, like, oh, he's a fan favorite, so they're keeping him around. Like, no, he will play.
No, we know Game of Thrones doesn't care about that.
Totally.
Oh, it's your fan favorite? We're going to kill him.
Let's definitely kill him then. Yeah, that's that answer.
I can't wait to see little Lady Mormont get speared because too many people like her.
Exactly.
You
Don't
can't
you
wait.
feel like Game of Thrones is for the
Lady
fans
Mormont
who love
backlash.
to see the heels victorious. Like, it was a straight up bummer in a way where you're just like at the end of the episode and you're like, God, the good guys are just gonna lose.
But they kind of had to, because we talked about how OP Dany was when she walked in, and we were like, why the heck would anyone even fight them? And this has been a really quick, good leveling that I think was needed to move forward.
One last loser to talk about before we get to Trivia by Combat. Call in at Movie Fights Live to participate. Theon. He climbed out of the wreckage and got right back onto a Greyjoy boat.
Was anybody feeling like Gendry was just gonna slide on
Gonna
it?
row forever rowing.
Man is swole at this point.
I think George Martin's biggest irony is putting joy in the name Greyjoy, because they are just the most miserable, sod-bitten, depressing people ever. Like, Theon gets onto a Greyjoy boat and they're like, could have saved your sister, bitch. It's like, oh, wah.
Do we think Theon is just gone and it's now Reek all over again? Or is, I mean, like, endless PTSD flashbacks? Or, you know, is Theon gonna kind of come back and be strong again?
I think he could go back and I think it's just back and forth. I mean, I feel like it would be a really unrealistic portrayal if he was definitively... The human psyche does not work that way. Like, he's not going to just definitively be one thing or the other after going through all that. I feel like his sister's now going to get a taste of what he went through.
Yeah, Euron kept Yara.
Or they'll both be reunited, you know, on Euron's prow, just like at the front of the ship, he straps people to it, which is a fun little trick.
Yeah, in the book, Euron is a nasty,
Did you read the
awful
the preview chapter?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, it sucks.
I
so
think
much.
bringing pirates into Game of Thrones was possibly the smartest move I've ever seen. How do you make the show that literally has everything even better? Pirates. I just had to talk about it. I know this is from like so long ago, but like the scene where Euron attacks the Greyjoy ships and just drops his anchor onto some dude.
Oh, we discussed that moment big time.
I think my favorite death.
That gave all of us a raging throner was the drawbridge falling on, and
I was screaming. I was like,
it was so good.
Oh yeah, we haven't introduced you to this, but we do raging throners at the end. It's
Our
like our favorite moment
episode.
from the episode. So think
We'll
ahead.
get there. But first, we are bringing back Trivia by Combat. Yeah! I don't know if we have a graphic for it. But you were calling in for there it is.
With explosions.
Boom.
My favorite.
So from what I recall, it's 3 rounds of trivia, and you can call in one of us as a lifeline if you get stuck.
We do not know the question. Spencer, myself, and Nolan do not know these questions at all. Roth is the only one who does, so she'll read it out.
I can't help you, Chief.
Yeah, let's bring in our first combatant. Caller, what's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Sebastian from Virginia.
Hey, Sebastian.
What's up, man? You ready to throw down?
Sure.
All right, in honor
I
of
always think I know things and then I have no idea.
This is where we find out.
Trivia is the worst, but one of them will know. All right.
What is he playing for, by the way? Do we know what the prize is?
T-shirts?
Let's make it a t-shirt.
T-shirt?
T-shirt and a hat.
Woo! Swag.
All right, we'll get your stay on the line. We'll get your info after you're done. If you win, so Roth, hit us with the question.
All right, Lady Tyrell first appeared on Game of Thrones in season 3 when she visited what location in anticipation of what event?
Ooh.
It's so obvious.
Wait, Olenna Tyrell?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wasn't it the King's Landing to Marjorie's wedding?
Yes.
Nicely done.
Well done.
Nice.
I hope these don't get harder than that.
That was a deep cut.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay.
They do, because
We got this. It's okay.
All right.
We got you.
All right. well, this is all Lady Olenna. Where did she hide the poison that she used to kill Joffrey at his wedding?
Sansa's necklace.
Boom.
Yeah,
Whoa.
got
Nice.
it.
Immediate.
Okay.
Is this the last one?
Just assume that this is all about her. And I already actually can't do this one because I answered it in my first. She's the queen of what?
Huh?
This will be a supplemental
Final
question.
answer?
This one doesn't count. Olenna is the queen of what?
Oh, thorns.
Cool.
Besides
Obviously.
Bran, what other member of the Stark family had dreams in season 1 about the three-eyed raven?
Ned.
Do you want a lifeline?
Apparently that's a wrong answer.
Apparently that's
Don't-
So do you?
Don't talk. I know me and Michelle just did this right now. So don't
Yeah,
talk
we all
to
did
us.
the.
Wait, reread the question.
Besides Bran, what other member of the Stark family had dreams in season 1 about the three-eyed raven?
Michelle.
I'm gonna guess.
Didn't I already lose?
I'm gonna guess. No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm gonna guess Rickon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
We have harder
Nice
ones,
pull.
but we
No,
end
that's
it?
3. He got 3.
He got three.
He won
Yeah.
3.
You won a shirt and a hat.
Yay.
Awesome. Well done.
So besides that, is there a favorite moment you wanted to talk about from the episode?
Well, I love Sansa being a good leader. I'm glad that she finally gets to prove herself and she wasn't
Totally.
all talk. But I did want to ask, how do you think Littlefinger will deal with Bran? Because, he kind of knows everything, and if he actually meets the trueborn son of Ned Stark and he knows everything that Littlefinger's done, that's kind of an interesting position for Littlefinger.
That's interesting. Yeah, I just think he's lucky Bran is such a distant creep who doesn't seem to be interested in anything that would be useful information to tell Sansa. So yeah, he's probably just gonna bank on, or he'll finish the job, or he will take Bran out.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't really responsible for Bran's assassination attempt, but he may continue to try. I don't know if it'd be a smart move, but I think you're right that Bran seems to have his eye on the prize, and he already mentioned he wants to talk to Jon, so he may just consider Littlefinger beneath his notice altogether.
Yeah, maybe he's just even bigger picture.
Well, why do we think Littlefinger knows that?
Knows what?
That he's the three-eyed raven?
Well, he does. They haven't even met yet.
Because
Yeah, exactly. That's what, Littlefinger doesn't know that Bran's a threat at all. As far as he can tell,
I don't think he
he's
even
just
knows he's alive yet. Or I guess he just learned.
Or he just.
we assume.
I
I
assume.
just
I don't
just
think he knows
Bran's
he's
just
a threat.
spewing out random stuff. So
Sure.
to Sansa. So.
But to Sansa, but not to Littlefinger. So unless Sansa tells him that, he doesn't know that.
Yeah.
I also
Yeah.
kind of feel like Bran's been going around just I'm the three-eyed raven.
Yeah.
I can't explain it, but I'm the three-eyed raven, tattooed on his forehead.
Yeah.
But I can't take 2 seconds to explain why, but sure, I am.
I mean, he
Just
only,
believe it.
totally
he
would.
only told his
I would
sister
let
that.
everyone know it's
Yeah.
three-eyed
He only
raven.
told his sister that. Everybody else is just seeing a
Oh, it's
guy
Bran Stark, yeah.
who can't walk and is weird and distant.
Yeah.
And probably totally traumatized. But his sister's really the only one that knows that, so why would she tell anyone?
Yeah. Since she doesn't understand it herself yet either. Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get plenty more Bran this season.
Well, congratulations
on
on
Game of
winning
Thrones.
trivia by combat.
Yeah.
Yay, that was
Thanks for
awesome.
having
Good
me.
job.
You did. Our producers will be in touch, or if not, stay on. And yeah, Billy's got you. So congratulations again. Thanks for calling
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's
Good job.
Trivia always impresses me because it is like my kryptonite. It scares me.
It's tough, yeah.
It's tough. And that was
in.
well
I feel like
done.
they got easier though as they went on. I think that might have been flipped.
The Rickon one, it took me.
How did you remember that?
Because I remember us talking about Rickon possibly having some psychic powers as well. So that he was the only one who made sense. Because I know it
Yeah.
wasn't Sansa. It definitely wasn't Robb. So who else was left?
John?
For some
I
reason-
wouldn't have counted John though.
Yeah.
But I thought I remembered us kind of talking about how Rickon seemed to be a little prophetic with things too.
Yeah.
And he definitely
Should've
comes across
turned
that way in the
left.
book. Yeah. Except about how to serpentine.
For some reason, in my mind, it jumped for me to just completely out of the picture, but Benjen Stark, my favorite character.
yeah.
Because I remember him saying, in the books, I remember him talking to Jon before he leaves to go north beyond the wall, saying some weird prophetic things. So I was going to go with Benjen Stark. So thank you for not choosing me.
I mean, and once he's
personally owed you a
undead,
hat.
once he's
Saved the
undead,
day.
I'm sure he definitely had some visions and
Yeah.
such.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. We want to end, Nolan, with our Raging Throner, which is our favorite moment of the episode. What do you got?
I want to be able to say the words Raging Throner.
Yeah. Tweet them into us. Hashtag Watching Thrones. Hashtag Raging Throner. Just live your life.
My Raging Throner has to be the scene where I guess are we calling her Obara, the Sand Snake?
Alaria's daughter.
Alaria's daughter.
Her getting
in
poisoned.
The dungeon getting poisoned. That's brutal. Yeah.
Cersei at her maddest.
This is just what I love about Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Just
I hope
brutal.
we flash back and see her rotting corpse throughout time.
just in the middle of battle scene, just randomly cut to a little more decomposed.
Yeah.
Just her and Septa Nunella.
Just like so
keep
we
checking
can
back.
tell how much time has passed. Yeah.
Yeah, completely.
Michelle, what do you got?
This is going to be a weird one because it was so creepy, but I kind of liked Sansa's expression when Bran is like, "Oh yeah, by the way, remember that night you were raped? Wasn't that creepy?" Because for her that's such a transformation of she's gotten reunited with her brother and he's acting weird, but she has to kind of experience that this is someone she no longer knows. And I thought Sophie Turner did a really good job with this of trying to understand and then just kind of realizing she has to go back to herself.
Yeah.
I hate to jump on your pick, but I think Lena Headey's performance
So good.
Yeah.
in that scene was so incredible. I mean, she's always great, but this is why she has become so beloved on the show, is because in one moment she goes, "Why did you do that?" And you can see the real emotion and the heartbreak, and then she immediately pulls it back and goes, "It doesn't matter, I'm about to screw you so hard."
Yeah.
Like,
It
was deliciously
It takes
evil.
a certain performance from an actor to like make a character that should be so hated a fan favorite.
Relatable.
Love hate.
Yeah, exactly.
How I feel, one death that like if I could honestly bring back one character would be Joffrey, just because I believe like he was played so
well.
believably and well. Like I almost hate not having him on the show.
Who would you kill off on Modern Family?
Modern Family, probably me because they'd have to pay out my contract.
And you could be on Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
You could be an extra.
that would be my dream role, to be on Game of Thrones. Not even as like a major character, just guy who gets eaten by dragon.
Awesome. I want to make that happen someday.
Get trending on Twitter.
My raging throner was, I mean, it's Jon and Dany. Specifically, the title soup that Dany has, followed by "This is Jon Snow."
He needs some titles of his own.
He's working on them, but he's not about those titles, man. He's about the deeds. It just told you so much about both of those characters. It was a great meet cute for them at the beginning of their long and winding road to hook up with each other.
And Davos is king in the north is even like an after that.
Yeah, he's like,
This is Jon Snow.
it was like he
He's the
forgot,
king in the
he
North.
didn't study
He's
for the
the king.
test. He's like, and the king of North.
He's got a thing too.
He's got something. Guys, thank you so much. What an episode. This is a pretty good season so far, right?
Yeah.
This was great.
Yeah, so we'll be here all season long. We'll be taking your tweets, hashtag Watching Thrones throughout the week to respond, and we'll be back next week. I want to thank Nolan Gould. Where can they find
Thank you. Modern Family, we premiere sometime. I believe in September, but I could be completely wrong. So check your local listings.
That's a solid promo. And you
9
on
o'clock.
Twitter at Nolan Gould?
Yeah, at Nolan_Gould, and on Instagram, Nolan Gould Official.
Perfect.
Yeah, and thank you guys for having me here. I'm so jealous. This is your job. No. Oh my God, you're gonna come back and all your things are gonna be gone because I stole them all. I just want to play with all these.
Everybody gets one.
We do all the time.
Michele Boyd, thank you again.
Of course. You can find me at Michele Boyd across all platforms, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Come say hi.
Come say hi, Roth Cornet.
I'm Roth Cornet on the things, and here on SJ News. doing the
Likewise
other
for
things.
me at Spencer J. Gilbert here on Watching Thrones, where we will be back next week, and every week they have a Game of Thrones on ScreenJunkies News. See you next week.
The King in the North.
This episode was presented by T-Mobile, America's best unlimited network.